Hello and welcome back to another episode of Yoga Off the Mat. If you are new to this channel, my name's Emily and this series is looking at all of the different elements of yoga. Today we are looking at these hand gestures that we use in yoga that we call mudras. So I'm going to give you a brief introduction to what they are, why we do them, and some of the most common ones that you might already be familiar with. So, mudra is a Sanskrit word which roughly translates to the ideas of stamp, seal, or gesture. And we use these in our yoga practice, sometimes in meditation and sometimes in asana, in the physical poses, as a way to redirect or change the flow of energy, of prana. If you're not familiar with what prana is, then I'd recommend going back and watching the episode I did on pranayama. But generally speaking, prana is subtle energy. When we bring these mudras into our yoga practice, whether it's when we're meditating or practicing poses, asanas, it does require a slightly subtler level of awareness. As we learn more and more about yoga and as we practice more and more, we start to move down these kind of layers and get into the depths of what we're really doing. So if you think back to your first ever yoga class, you were probably just really desperately trying to get the poses right and figure out where your arms and legs are supposed to be in, say, a warrior pose. So if someone asked you, if your teacher asked you, what can you feel in your right hip? Chances are you were thinking, I have absolutely no idea, I'm just trying really hard to hold this pose and not fall over. But with more time and more practice, you're able to feel into the pose, to incorporate the breath, to maybe have more of an awareness of what each body part is doing, and be able to take that awareness to, say, the right hip and see what you can feel there. So we start to go into a slightly subtler level of what we're practicing, a deeper level of it. And then with time, we might find that we can then bring in things like the mudras and really feel the difference that they bring, because it is on that deeper, subtle level that the mudras make a change to what we're doing. So if you are relatively new to yoga, you might find that the difference between having your hands just, like this in a pose and bringing the hands into this gesture, there might not be a difference. You might not feel anything, and that's okay. So don't feel that you're doing it wrong if you're not really feeling the difference initially. But what you probably will find later on down the line is once you are a little bit more in tune with your body, your breath, and your practice starts to go a little deeper than that, then you may start to feel this subtle shift that happens by bringing in these gestures. But with all that being said, wherever you are in your practice, you are welcome to bring these mudras in as much or as little as you like. But it's always nice to understand why you're doing them, right? So let's have a look at this one, the one that you're probably really familiar with, Anjali Mudra. Do you know why you do this? Can you pinpoint exactly how it makes you feel doing this? The idea of yoga, the word yoga itself, means unity and connection. So when we come onto the yoga mat, when we start practicing yoga, we're looking to find a connection, to feel connected. And I think sometimes we lose sight of what that actually means, feeling connected. So the way I like to look at it is thinking about what the opposite would look like. What does it feel like to be disconnected to you? It might be a lack of awareness of how you're really feeling, not feeling present, not feeling really yourself, acting out of character, maybe feeling a little unbalanced, unstable. So all of those might be ways that you could feel disconnected. So the opposite of all of that would be feeling connected, which is what we're looking to establish in our yoga practice. Looking to feel like we are present, that we are able to be entirely ourselves, that we're in tune with ourselves. That's what we come to yoga for. And so by bringing the hands together in this gesture, we are literally connecting left and right sides of the body, connecting left and right sides of the brain as we do that. And it helps us to find this sense of balance, of connection. It's a reminder of what our intention is when we come to practice yoga. So it's a nice thing to start the yoga class with and maybe finish with as well, to remind us again and again of why we're practicing this idea of connection. Another mudra that you might be familiar with is this one. Even if you've never been to a yoga class, you've probably seen this somewhere. So this one is the gesture of consciousness. It's known as Chin Mudra or Jnana Mudra, depending on whether you have the palms facing up or palms facing down. This mudra is used a lot in meditation because it can bring you to a sense of focus and awareness in what you're doing. So just on a physical level even, bringing the thumb and forefinger together and extending the other fingers gives you something to do in meditation, something physical that you can focus on. This feeling, again, of connection between the thumbs and the forefingers can help you to keep your mind steady when it might otherwise become a bit distracted. But on an energetic level, on a subtler level, it's bringing us to a place of deeper awareness. The thumb represents universal consciousness, universal energy, and the forefinger represents your individual energy and consciousness. So bringing those together brings about this idea of oneness that we look at in yoga. The idea that we individually are the same universal energy as everything else that exists, that we are all connected, that we're all one. So this gesture is representative of that. Then just to round things off, let's look at one more, the lotus mudra, Padma Mudra. So Padma is a Sanskrit word that means lotus, the lotus flower. The lotus flower is used a lot in yoga as a symbol representing beauty, growth, and overcoming difficulties. So if you're not familiar with the lotus flower, it grows in water and it plants its roots down into the mud. It grows in this thick, sticky mud, grows through murky, muddy waters, and then as it comes to the surface, it opens up and blooms into this beautiful, pure white flower, completely unaffected and untouched by the muddy murkiness underneath it. So it's used as a symbol to represent our ability as humans to go through difficult, dark times and to grow through them and blossom. So the way that we can represent this idea of the lotus flower is bringing the thumbs together, bringing the little fingers together, and then opening out the fingers, opening out and creating a little space between the palms and making this lotus flower shape, Padma Mudra. A nice way to use this is in meditation, just holding this in front of the heart. Energetically, this mudra is said to stimulate the heart chakra, anahata, this energy center that reflects our ability to love, our ability to have compassion and empathy, our ability to show gratitude for things. So a nice way that you could use this in your own practice is bringing the hands into this mudra, closing the eyes, sitting in meditation, and maybe just listing some things that you feel grateful for, or reflecting on challenges that you either have already been through and overcome, or maybe looking at the challenges that you are going through at the moment, and using this mudra, this gesture, as a physical reminder of your ability to go through difficult things, to grow through these muddy, murky waters, and to blossom into something beautiful. So those are just 3 of the many, many, many mudras that exist. There's so much information online and there's some brilliant books on mudras as well. So if you're interested, then keep reading and researching and see how you want to bring mudras into your own practice. But equally, if you don't feel that drawn to using mudras at the moment, that is okay. We don't have to do every single part of yoga all the time. You'll probably find that at different stages in your life and different stages in your yoga practice, you will be more drawn to different elements of yoga. So chances are you started off practicing lots of yoga asana poses. That's where we tend to start. But later on down the line, you might find that actually you spend less time doing the poses and more time practicing meditation. Or maybe you spend more time thinking about the yamas and niyamas or the chakras. Maybe at some point you find that actually you really relate to the idea of the mudras and you enjoy bringing those into your practice and exploring them in different ways. There is no one right way of practicing yoga. There are so many different elements that we can bring in and explore at different times. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you'd like to see more videos like this, remember to subscribe to this channel. Leave me a comment if you have any other questions, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.